Lies of P just came out and it is an amazing game. Wonderful Souls-like, but it doesn't explain everything, as is very common with the genre. So here are some tips to help you get started on your journey. Early on in your playthrough, you will acquire a grapple hook for your left arm prosthetic, but did you know that you could also one-shot enemies by making them fall? If you go at a right angle like this, you can bring them right in front of you, and if there's nothing in front of you, they will fall to their death. Although this only works if you are at a high enough altitude. It's definitely a useful trick if you want to just one-shot them instead of fighting them after bringing them closer. As you're playing, eventually you will encounter these dimensional butterflies, and do not let them escape you. These are the equivalent of the Titanite lizards you would see in the Dark Souls series, and killing the butterfly will reward you with very important crafting material where you can upgrade your weapons. So when you spot one, just stick on it like glue and don't let it get away. In this game, there are two types of block. The regular block, where you will lose stamina and a little bit of health, and the perfect block, where you will lose no stamina and no health. You will see a different audio cue, and you will also see some red shards explode between your swords. Now, to execute a perfect block, you just need to time it perfectly, just how it would be in Sekiro. So yes, Lies of P did borrow quite a bit of From Software, and it's not just from Bloodborne. But that's perfectly fine because the execution is very good. So you can block, you can perfect block, and with certain weapons you can also parry. You need to have the specific weapon equipped, and then you press your L1 and triangle on PS5 as soon as the attack lands, and you will be executing a devastating parry that does a lot of damage. Although to use this specific parry, you need to have at least one blue bar available, and it will consume it once you have parried. However, if you miss the parry, it will not consume the blue bar. Critical strikes on staggered enemies is an extremely important mechanic in this game, and it's a three-step process. First, you have to do damage to the enemy until you expose this white bar. Then you will need to charge a heavy attack. Once that's done, you need to line yourself up exactly in the middle of them, and you use your light attack, and it will launch a critical strike execution animation where you will do an insane amount of damage and most likely tear your enemy apart. So it's very important to use this mechanic if you want to beat the harder bosses. Another very interesting mechanic that I love about this game is that once you run out of Estus Flask, it's not over. They actually borrowed this from the Surge series, where you are able to charge up your healing method by doing damage to enemies. As you can see on the left here, anytime I attack an enemy, it is charging up, and eventually it will make a full flask that you can use. So even when you think all hope is lost and you're out of healing methods, there is always a way to recharge it, which I find is really interesting because it doesn't force you to go back to the bonfire. It allows you to keep fighting if you are fighting properly. Another interesting mechanic that they borrowed from Bloodborne is that if you do a regular block, you will lose some health, although you are able to regain it if you attack very quickly after. And this is really good because it encourages an aggressive play style. So you can either get perfect blocks and you won't lose any damage, or do a regular block and attack right away and you'll be healed back to where you were. Although there is something to note here is that it also seems to apply to bosses, because if you damage a boss, you will see that there is their red bar, and then there's a portion that is grayed out by the recent damage you just did. So they are also able to heal if they land some attacks. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and it was informative. This game is absolutely amazing. Hopefully with these tips, you'll be well on your way to smashing a bunch of puppets in Lies of P. Let me know what you think about this game so far in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.